Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog at stampwithelaine.com. Today I have an interactive card for you. This is the push-pull mechanism. When you pull the tab, this opens up the card and you can see your Easter greeting there. Then when you stand it up, it fits through the aperture here. I'm using the Easter Bunny bundle again, so these are the photopolymer stamps and the punch that goes with it. I'm also using the stylish shapes dies, and I'm going to need the largest square, the largest flag tag, and also the medium size one. I'm using the 2022 to 2024 in colour designer series paper, so these are the patterns, and I'm using the Parakeet Party one. It has been cut so it will fit over the whole of the card front, so this measures 4 1/8, and then by 6 inches. I will trim it after I've glued it onto the card front so that I can be fairly accurate. The card base is the usual half an A4 sheet, and in Europe this measures 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. That's 14.5 by 21 centimeters and folded in half. You need to adhere the designer series paper to the card front first before you do anything else, because you're going to cut the aperture and the designer series paper at the same time. In order to make sure that I am butting this straight to the edge, I'm going to hold my paper at an angle and offer it up so that it goes right in the corner, like so. Make sure that's right as well. Bring in the bone folder to make sure that that is bonded, and then I can trim it. For the inside matte layer of the card, you need Parakeet Party. This has been cut at 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and that's 10 centimeters by 14 centimeters. I will also glue that into the card. Leaving an even border all round. Set that aside. Next you want a basic white piece that is 6 inches by 5 1/2 inches. This is your mechanism for pushing and pulling the card. In metric, this will measure 15 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters. So I'm going to score at 2 inches and 4 inches, and in metric you score at 5 and 10. So burnish the score lines. So the first one is a mountain and the second is a valley, and this is the bit that you apply adhesive to, but not these two panels. The inks I'm using are Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Also using some stamping blends, so I've got Petal Pink, Smoky Slate, Parakeet Party, So Saffron and Balmy Blue. So Saffron ink and a blending brush. So before I glue this on, I'm going to do a bit of stamping, and I need a cushion because these are photopolymer stamps, and I'm only going to stamp on the end panel. I'm also going to stamp this an Easter treat for you right in the middle here. And I'm going to do a bit of quick colouring of the Easter egg, so I'll speed this up. So I'll be using Parakeet Party, darker of the So Saffron, Petal Pink and Calypso Coral. When you're using alcohol markers, you need to protect your work surface. If you're working at a dining table and you've got a nice oak table, you don't want to ruin it by having stains on it, because the alcohol markers will bleed through. So I'm going to start off with Parakeet Party, then I'll speed this up. Now it's time to die cut the aperture. So I'm going to put it on my plate with the sandwich platform 1, the thin die adapter platform 2, one of the base plates. I need to do it this way because otherwise my eyes will deceive me. So I want an even border on the 3 sides here and at the top. So I want to secure that so the die won't move. Now you don't want your washi tape too tacky, otherwise it will tear the paper, and you don't want that, because you're going to need this piece as well as the rest of the designer series paper on the card front. So I've secured that, put my top plate on, and then I'll run it through the machine. Carefully remove this piece. Do you know what? I've made a boo-boo. You should have cut a piece of the tag from the matte layer before you glued it on. Never mind. Bring back my card base and just only apply adhesive to this end panel and then glue it to the card base, leaving an even border. The top side like so. So these 2 flaps are loose. You just want to make sure that that is properly secured. So on my scrap piece of cardstock, I'm going to stamp Happy Easter, and I want to leave enough room so that I can die cut a flag with this. Pop that on my cutting sandwich, die cut this, and I'll be back. I also want to stamp this floral motif here to decorate this. And I'm going to stamp some grass on here. Colour the grass with Parakeet Party. Fussy cut that. The last thing to do is ink up the bunny. Clean bit of paper here. Just colour the inside of his ears in petal pink and the tip of his nose, and then really I want the rabbit to stay white, but we'll just do a little bit of shading here. Bring in the punch and punch him out. So next I'm going to do a bit of blending on the white label so it won't look so stark. Now we've got all the elements for the front of the card. So I'm going to put dimensionals on the rabbit. Set him aside over there. Now we need to attach the square to the aperture. So you want to put this in, have it in the middle, okay, so it doesn't hang over the side. So I'm going to put glue in this panel here, and you want to stay away from the opening or the actual aperture, because if the glue seeps it might accidentally glue the whole thing down. So pop that in here, sort of round about the middle, and you want glue on this bit here as well. Make sure then you reinsert your cardstock and make sure the pattern is running the same way. And that it fits into the hole, and that nothing is catching. Yes. And glue that down properly, take it out and make sure it's stuck down. Now you see what's happened here, the glue has seeped and you want to rub that off. Do it gently. What you don't want is for the glue to stick to your aperture. So no, that's fine. It's not sticking. Okay. Now we can center our rabbit on here, like so. Pop this on. And this might be too long, so you might want to trim that down. I'm going to get a pencil and I want the stitching to show, so I'm going to move that over and then just make a mark as to where to cut it. And just use the scissors. And snip a bit off. Pop some dimensionals on the back of this label here and center that in the middle as well, and just apply a little adhesive on the floral detail here and just stick it in there, and voila, the card is finished. So I hope you've enjoyed this interactive card. It's really quite easy to make. I'll be back next time with more inspiration. Don't forget, all the supplies are below this video in the Show More section. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram. Until next time, bye.